Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is
Twisted and Uncorked. But Komodo dragons kind of scuttle at you in like a speedy way that's fucking scary as shit. So maybe this alligator does the same thing. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't like the mental image, that's for sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was really excited to tell Sierra about galloping alligators.
We're here now.
We're here now. Welcome. We're both wearing nerdy t-shirts as per usual and just hanging out. You miss nothing. Spooky season is over by the time you're seeing this. Even though Alecia still has her Halloween decorations up, she is not ashamed.
Tell me what we're drinking.
Oh yes, we are drinking a Free Reign Rosé. The bottle is beautiful. I already know Sierra has it ready. It's got a nice little floral bouquet on it. It's white, pink, and black, all of the good colors. And it is a semi-sweet porch wine that's almost Moscato-esque. So Moscato is a sweeter white grape varietal. That is not what we're drinking necessarily today, but it obviously has some of that in the blend. It's just a rosé blend. It delivers an ABV and is a good price as well. It was like, what did you pay? Like $7 maybe? $5 or $6? Yeah. So mine was $15, which is pretty cheap for a cheap bottle of wine, considering in Vancouver, because high Canada. And it has aromas of cantaloupe, ripe watermelon, raspberry, and cotton candy, with flavors backing of apple, sweet citrus, watermelon, and cherry. So it's pretty balanced. I thought it was pretty smooth considering it is a sweet wine, or it's considered to be a sweet wine. I like it. What are your thoughts?
What did we say the ABV was?
I didn't say. I said it packs an ABV and is a good price. What is the ABV? I think it's 9.
13.
Damn.
I can taste it.
What do you think? Do you like it?
Other than that, it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I like
it's
it too.
Really strong in the alcohol flavor.
Okay. So me and Sierra had a little pre-recording catch up, and I let her know that I finished my research this morning, which is unlike us type A humans, but it was necessary because I did a complete 180. So I was originally going to do another conspiracy case, but after diving deep into my research, some things surfaced that really freaked me out, and I didn't feel safe to cover it in a public setting anymore. So
what?
Yeah.
Now I need to know what that was.
And I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. So I'm being a little bit vague, but I want to cover it one day. It might only be a Patreon only episode because that's a little bit of a smaller audience. Can't be publicly searched kind of thing. But I was originally going to cover the celebrity clone conspiracy that's run by the Illuminati. Have you heard of it?
And that scared you?
Yeah. Oh, fucking
yes,
it scared me shitless. And I will explain why.
Oh, no.
That just pointed to a little bit of its validity. There was one particular actor who was approached about being a part of this alleged program. I'm quoting all over the place. Nobody kill me, please. And he was killed mysteriously after neglecting to participate in said program. And
after allegedly neglecting to participate.
Yes, after allegedly neglecting to participate. And it was such a fucked up death. It doesn't even make sense for a real person to die this way. So I will leave it at that, because I do want to cover it at some point, but I really freaked myself out.
You better fucking cover it this month, damn it. Now I need to know.
But I think you're really going to enjoy this story, despite that I'm not covering what I was originally planning to. I brought my A game to make up for it. Goodness. So yeah, I'm covering something totally different. And I think you will like it. I'm covering a cryptid, mysterious creature-esque situation. But unlike the chupacabra or Mothman or anything like that, not a lot of people have heard about this one, so it's kind of interesting in that way. And as we're just coming out of spooky month, it felt fitting to cover that as a conspiracy because I'm not ready to let go of it. So, with that said, I will dive in.
I'm all for it.
She heard Mothman, guys. That's what piqued her interest, and then was disappointed that that's not what that was. No, Sierra doesn't know it, but I have an unagreed verbally agreement with her that I will let her cover Mothman because no one will love Mothman like she does.
The card that Carly pulled for me said something about you are a bright light and you need to attract all the moths or something. And I was like, hell fucking yes, Mothman, come find me. I was so excited.
You're like, I've never felt so seen.
Right?
That's awesome.
It was just a silly tarot deck, though.
I like it.
But it was awesome. I want it. Anyway, tell me
but we've had some very cool experiences with their tarot readings and spirit guide readings.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Go check out our Patreon for that. And we will be doing a live Instagram situation in November. So that is this month that this comes out. So if you're not following us on Instagram already, go do that now. Twisted and Uncorked. Okay, thanks. So today I am telling you about a mysterious creature / cryptid. I wasn't really sure what to call it based on some of the accounts. But a cryptid basically means a creature, but in a psychological or, spiritual sense, really. So whether or not it's real or not is up to you. So I am telling you, oh fuck, I googled how to say this. Today I am telling you about the Zeifach. It starts with a Z, but on Google pronunciations it's silent, so the rest of it is said. I'm sticking with it. Sightings of this creature are marked Zeifach. Yes, you can't Google it mid episode.
Okay? I'm not I'm just trying to figure out what this means.
Is she trying to figure this out right now? No, it's spelled Zweifach. So when I Googled it on Google pronunciations, it pronounced it Zeifach. So instead of the Z is silent, is what I gathered. Silent Z.
The Z for all us Americans.
I forgot that I did that. Okay, in my defense, I said Z for so long that I got made fun of in elementary school, and it got bullied out of me to say Z. I think that's the stupidest shit ever. So Z. I'm sorry, Canadians. I love you, but I got to side with the American side on this side. Makes no sense. Okay. The first sightings of the Zeifach came from the Iroquois people near the Black Forest, which is a densely forested mountain range in the southwest of Germany. At the start of the 20th century. Is that what did you
that when you spelled it and then you said it, I was like, this has to be German.
Oh. True. Yes. It is a very German sounding name. Even though it's interesting because Native American settlers in Germany at the start of the 20th century were actually where the first sightings come from. So I think that it's interesting that it has a German origin name, or it's possible that white people in true white people fashion took credit for something that they didn't discover. But we're very used to that. At the start of the 20th century, old archives and sketches were preserved and collected in some of these wooded areas. These camps of the Iroquois tribes were left abandoned, and when they were attacked by invading European colonies, why can't I speak English today? Some camps of the Iroquois tribes were left abandoned, and when they were attacked by invading European colonies looking to claim the land they sat on. Because of the ever-changing woods of the Black Forest, the denser areas were not explored until later on, when groups came to investigate, collecting what was salvageable and safe to do so. because some part of these woods weren't touched until mid to late 1900s. So it's just very dense wood. Like it's just, you can't just casually walk in there. You would need tools of some sort. We will get to what was archived later in our story and where it ended up. But first, I want to tell you about a few of these sightings. In 1822, one of the earlier Iroquois tribes had set up camp near the base of the mountain. They were on the north side along a riverbed, an ideal camp situation. And the interesting part about the Black Forest in Germany is that it stretches between Germany and some parts of France, but it has like every terrain type that you could possibly cram into one area. It's just really weird. There's mountains, there's rivers, there's, grassy plains, there's everything within this one chunk. Have you ever heard of the Black Forest? It sounds like something out of a Harry Potter movie.
No.
I love it. I'm adding it to our bucket list as nature lovers. But we may need one of those hatchets to get through some parts, but we'll work our way. We'll work our way up to that level of badassery. As was customary for the tribe during this time, the men had gone out hunting for the day and hadn't had much luck. They started to head back right before sundown at around 7:40 p.m. Usually the tribe headed back earlier, about an hour earlier, but it was late in September and temperatures were dropping as, fall and winter were nearing. So animals were starting to hibernate or migrate in preparation for the colder winter months. Their time to move camp was coming, but they had an ideal camp location at this time, like I said, and it was seeming to be a long fall. It was a long summer, so they were anticipating a long fall. They had hoped to catch a little bit more for the day, but they were coming home with about 8 falcon, which is a type of freshwater fish caught in rivers in Germany. Fun fact. Google that. As the group headed back to camp, 2 of the men trailed back a ways, keeping an ear out for any lasting critters brave enough to creep out after the group's passing. This particular trail was mostly squished down due to previous foot traffic of theirs, but the odd blade of grass still tickled up through the foliage and tickled their ankles. They did their best to keep their footing steady and quiet so as to not scare any smaller animals that might be hiding near them. But we're all ticklish, so do what you can. And as we know, most Native American garb just covered the bottoms of their foot. They weren't, ankle boots or anything, to say the least. At this point, it looked like there was going to be no lasting luck as they approached camp. The fire was already blazing as the golden hour was setting to an end in the sky. It wasn't unusual to hear chirping, crackling, howling in the distance of the mountains, acting as nature's sounding board. But the noises that they were hearing this particular night were different. It was a series of yips, low and playful and in quick succession. The 2 men that had been trailing back in the group opted to drop their gear off at camp and veer off to investigate, taking with them 2 small knives. The noises led them to the base of a river about 50 meters from camp. The river was lined with stones brushed up and bunched together by the river's force, and this section of the river ran through a particularly thick bunch of forest that by now was pitch black. Like I said, sections of this forest were very cramped together. It was only lit by faint orange remnants of the sunset. The yips grew louder, and the men spotted glowing green spots in the distance.
Wait a minute.
What?
Glowing green spots. This is starting to sound familiar for some reason.
Like you've heard this story before?
Yeah.
I don't know. You might be more akin to German folklore than me.
Okay.
Glowing green spots in the distance. The older of the 2 men gestured for his comrade to stay back as he inched closer to the edge of the tree line, peering in. 2 trees were jostled in the distance, startling him in now silence. Whatever they had seen, it had seen them too. The men began to backpedal slightly. They had seen a lot in these woods, but they had never seen glowing green eyes like that, and they had never heard that animal's cry before. They retreated back to camp, opting to head back in the morning when they had proper light to investigate.
Do you have a year for this?
This is happening in
Did you say a
1822.
year?
This particular story is happening in 1822. At sunrise, the two men woke up and went to build a fire. They were the first of the tribe to awake, but they were both so afraid yet curious of what had lurked within those woods the night before that they hadn't gotten much sleep themselves. And for whatever reason, Google auto-corrected sleep to sleed. I'm not even confident that that's a word.
Doesn't seem like it. Not a word I know.
Right? The men made their way back to the spot on the trail at the base of the trees along the river. They brought 3 additional men with them this time. As they approached the trees, they heard the same yips. The group took their first steps into the woods, and the yips got louder and more frantic. The trees ahead of them shuffled. One of the men from the night before led the group, inching his way closer to the sound. He got down on his hands and knees and began crawling towards the sound carefully, not to jostle any brush in his way. A small, grayish-brown body scurried past him, kicking dirt as it ran. The man blinked, peering deeper into the trees, trying to get a better look. A head popped up, flashing the same glowing green eyes in the dim lighting of the morning. The men huddled together and continued to inch their way. They reached a large, shallow hole at the base of a tree, half dug into the roots. 2 tiny gray-brown bodies were crawled underneath amidst dry leaves, the heads of wildflowers, bits of moss, and smaller branches and twigs. It was what appeared to be a nest. It was like whatever built this thing was incredibly creative and managed to build a comfy spot out of next to nothing in these sparse woods nearing winter. None of the men recognized these creatures, and they had been living in the area for about 7 months at this point. The sleeping nest picked up on their presence and opened their eyes, flashing a deep green. Was this the same glowing green that they had seen in the darkness the night before? One of the small creatures propped itself up onto all fours, shaking and stretching and elongating its gray-brown, short-haired body. Its legs were extremely short given the length of its body, and it had a small snout with white spots and more white spots and black markings on its face. It had short, pointed ears and a stubby tail. One of the men reached out its hand, gesturing towards the small creature that was already standing in the nest, and it let out a few yips. This was what they had seen and heard the night before, but for whatever reason, it looked much larger in the distance and in the darkness. But suddenly, one of the men screamed, causing the group to scatter in different directions. The man screamed again, falling to the dirt, revealing a larger creature that was grasping its leg, teeth bared in a brilliant grin. There was too many teeth. They seemed to triple that of most animals, overlapping in a shark-like fashion. It didn't seem to match the same creature that they had seen seconds before, almost bear-like, yet sweet.
What
I don't know.
the fuck is
I
this?
don't know. I was going to say anything with glowing green eyes has not been considered sweet. The man kicked at the creature at his leg until it finally let go, taking with it a small chunk of his flesh. The creature scurried over to the nest, yipping along the way, gathering up its babies before racing up the side of the tree. The men ran to their fallen member's aid, hoisting him up on their shoulders and racing from the trees. They looked back at the glowing green eyes in the tree, but it was only one set. With this attack, they expected to see a flurry of them after the mom came out, but there was nothing. The men convened back at camp, telling the others what they had seen. Fellow tribe members were in disbelief, stating words like demon or monster. They were uncertain of what to make of this animal. Was it a type of rodent, a type of cat, a type of bear? It could dig, climb, and attack when needed. It wasn't much taller than knee high and weighed about maybe 30 to 50 pounds from what they could see. So pretty small. The tribe tried to just, it's bigger than Stanley, whatever it is. The tribe tried to discern what kind of threat this creature may be and whether or not it was a threat to them. What about a threat to their children? This creature had babies. Was it just like this when it felt threatened, or was it like this all the time? To be safe, they opted to begin migrating a few days earlier and left the mysterious creatures behind. In 1934, a group of settlers in eastern Canada, so now we've jumped from Germany to Canada, and it's almost 100 years later.
Okay, seems logical.
Almost 100 years later, in 1934, a group of settlers in eastern Canada were out hunting. That's what settlers do, Sierra. Did you not know that? They settle.
They were out settling. They just didn't feel like looking for houses anymore. They decided to just settle on this land right here.
Exactly.
Don't settle, guys. You're worth more.
Oh,
never settle.
One man was crouched down with his eyes fixated on a hare in the distance. They heard a series of yips. Not only did the sound startle the hare that they were fixated on hunting, but it startled the men as well. The trees above them shuffled under the weight of one small creature running and jumping along the branches. Initially, they thought it was maybe a squirrel or a small bear, but it was much bigger than a squirrel and had a short, stout tail. The creature came to a halt at the edge of
the meerkat?
branch. I don't know. It's weird. It's like a size of a small to medium dog.
I've been trying to picture this this whole time, and I'm like, what the fuck is it?
It's, yeah, right? It's about the size of a medium dog. It's like gray-brown, has glowing eyes, and a lot of teeth. Way too many teeth. Okay. The creature came to a halt. I had a hard time picturing it too. Well, like, because there's like, when you Google most cryptids or parts of history that people have like conjured and they only have like sketches, or like I'll show you at the end like an idea of what they think it looks like, but it's kind of hard with only translated accounts. But here we are, such is history,
right?
The creature came to a halt at the edge of one branch and jumped to the next, launching itself into the air and landing just short of a bird nipping at its wings. After a short struggle, the creature pinned the bird and, bearing way too many teeth, bit down on the feathery body. Suddenly, about 7 or 8 more of these creatures ran in to join on the feast. They were all about the size of a small dog. Certainly, this wasn't going to be enough food for all of these creatures. When the men arrived back at camp, they were particularly unsettled by what they had seen. They had never seen an animal like this before. One man in the group pulled out a piece of charcoal and a scrap of paper, trying to draw what he had seen with what he could remember from the speed in the trees. But before I tell you more about this mysterious creature, we are going to take a quick ad break. But if you don't want to listen to ads, you can go on over to Patreon for as little as $1 a month to see what we have to offer for bonus content. Just this month alone, we have released our Urban Legends Sierra's edition on the Bunnyman Bridge. There's a costume that goes with that. We've also released a bonus episode where we both cover 2 very different episodes. I'm a little bit more of a bummer, while Sierra's has a pretty happy ending. You'll have to go check out that to see what I'm talking about. And we also have our Bitch and Wine featuring some witchy business, where we unleash a little bit of our love of tarot and, oracle cards. So you'll have to go check that out too. And we also have 2 special Halloween segments for series and recaps, the Scream recap and the It recap. You guys voted, we listened, and Alecia had to deal with clowns. But go check that out, and we will see you after this quick ad break. Welcome back from our little commercial break. Twisted Humans. So when we left off, we had just finished in Eastern Canada, learning about one of the sightings of our Zeifach. I hope I'm still saying that right. And any of our German listeners, please yell at me. Let me know if you know about this. And now we are continuing forward in our sightings. So late in 1993, a small town in northwestern.
Did you say 1993?
Yes, we're jumping like 100 years ago.
God.
Well, we were at 1934 from 1822. So we're jumping.
Yeah, but this is the year we were born.
I know, it's a good year. A small town in northwestern Ohio, U.S. caught
like where I was born too.
Northwestern Ohio? Where is Cincinnati?
Southwestern.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Caught a sighting of the Zeifach. A man named Miles Griffith observed a mysterious green light coming from outside of his window. He had thought that it might have been a light from one of his neighbors, but he heard a series of yips, noises that he had never heard before. He opened his front door, walking out the front porch, and he heard a set of screaming paws in the distance. He looked up onto the roof of the Mater Gregg building across the street, which is like a town hall type library situation, and was met with.
Why did you say it like you were from the Midwest?
I don't know.
Town
did
hall.
I? Town hall. I think I was just about to say something that I wasn't meaning to, and I tried to course correct it last minute.
It's fine though. It's Ohio.
Town hall.
It's pronounced that way.
Oh, is it on brand? Okay, good to know. For the story, at least. He was met with a set of glowing green eyes again. As he got nearer, however, the yips got more frantic, and whatever was on the roof ran to the back end of the building. Apprehensive, Miles went to retrieve his rifle and ran across the street to the back of the building. He heard the same yips, but they were quieter, more muffled. He inched around the corner to find this family of small creatures feasting on one of the chickens from the coop in the backyard. Miles had never seen anything like this. The long bodies, the short legs, the glowing green eyes, and all of those teeth. The markings on the animal were unique as well, as if somebody had taken a black and white paintbrush and just started flicking it at the creature.
It sounds like a hyena.
Right? He retreated. I know, the yippy noises too kind of made me think of a hyena too. He retreated to his home, not wanting to disturb a mama bear and her babies feasting as it was. It was definitely bear-like, but Miles didn't know what this creature was. A few nights later, a man named Dr. Alcott was also visited by a set of mysterious green eyes in the middle of the night. He went outside of his window to investigate the source and saw a small group of creatures out in the field, as well as one closer by his window. They began moving with a flash, these green eyes, and he realized that a group was charging towards him. He fled back into his home, just escaping the bouquet of teeth in one of the creature's mouths. As each night passed, more and more townspeople were visited by these mysterious little creatures. Rumors flew, and people complained of being charged at or having their livestock go missing. Fear increased, and townspeople began to organize themselves to fight the little monsters. As soon as these creatures arrived, though, they disappeared. Other than these sightings, no one has really gotten close enough to really study these creatures. They travel and they move too fast to be caught or found dead, for that matter. But here is a little summary on what we know. Since the first sighting came from Germany, the name was thought to have German origins that roughly translate to double or twin. Scholars believe that the animal was given this name because they are only said to have 2 babies at a time. We've seen in 2 sightings previously that they only have 2 babies. The Zeifach has also been seen in either large groups of 7 or 8, or 8 or 9, or along with its babies in and of itself. They have been possibly green eyes and fierce teeth. Over the years, drawings and writings have been collected from all over the world about the sightings of the Zeifach and have been translated into some of the stories that I have read to you today. Sketches of the creature are also just as confusing as what I've described throughout. Kind of like a wombat, a cat had a wombat and a cat had a confusing baby with glowing eyes and shark teeth.
Okay.
So, I will show you some sketches of these creatures.
Oh.
So like short, like long body, stubby legs, pointed ears.
I just took it away.
But after all of the descriptions, you've heard of this little beast. So it's like a wombat and a cat kind of had a baby. But because they described all of these teeth, they drew it in different ways, even though I pictured it to be more shark-like. Like overlapping, whereas that doesn't really show a lot, but it shows green,
that's more
glowing.
like a saber-toothed tiger
right
type.
This one totally, even though I think it's like a rodent situation. I don't know, it's weird, but this one seems more of what I described, but it's not showing you its teeth or its eyes. So weird, hey?
Definitely weird.
Have you ever heard of this creature?
I don't think so.
Okay, because it's totally made up.
Wait, what?
So
what do you mean it's made up?
I pulled an M. Schultz and wrote a cryptid story on you.
Wait. Okay. Hang on. No. This does not. No, you didn't.
Yes,
There's no way. What do you mean?
Okay, there are several clues throughout. Are you ready for them?
Yes.
I love you.
Only having 2 kids.
That was one clue. Glad you picked up on that. The first clue was German lineage. The second clue was Western Europe, primarily seen in Germany and some parts of Scotland. Second clue. Third clue.
Oh my god.
The first group that found the Zeifach was Native Americans.
You know, I was really fucking confused and I didn't want to say anything because I was like, okay, maybe she knows something that I don't, or maybe that like I just heard her wrong. Why the fuck would Native Americans be in Germany? They're Native Americans.
Okay, so that's your third clue. Fourth clue was eye color, glowing green eyes.
I do have green eyes.
You don't have glowing green eyes. I'm thankful for that. This other clue was the longer body but short, stubby legs. You are short. The other clue was that it's only seen in its family groups or with its babies, likes to be left alone.
This is not. Oh my god.
The other clue was that it was small, about the size of a small or medium dog, and you're small. The other clue was the first sighting happened in September. The third sighting happened in 1993.
Yeah, in Ohio.
Western
Ohio. I like how you played that off too. Is that where Cincinnati is?
Yeah. The other one was it's unique and creative and a little bit messy in the sense that it made its nest out of whatever it could. It was creative in doing so because there was scarce resources. And the other one was that it looked like it was splattered with a paintbrush because you spill shit on yourself regularly.
I do.
The next was he didn't want to disturb a mama bear with her babies. Your nickname.
Yeah. Oh my god. I cannot believe you did that.
I pulled it off. And the origin of the name is double or twin, and that it looks like a wombat, which was your tarot spirit animal.
How did you come up with the name?
The Zeifach? It's German for double or twin.
Oh,
and you're my
like
twisted
it
twin.
actually is. Jesus Christ.
I hope that made you happy.
I can't believe that just happened. Oh God.
A little
that is hilarious.
late October trick for you. And because you've had such a shitty week, I thought you deserved a laugh. And that somebody knows and loves you that well that they can trick you.
Yeah. That is insane. I cannot believe you did that. Goodness gracious.
I love you.
That was fun. For
none of those stories are real. I wrote all of them. However, I did do research about the Black Forest and about.
So that's a real place.
Yes, that is a real place. It is very densely forested.
I do love a forest.
There were Native American tribes in Western Europe during this time, but only at the beginning of the 20th century. And I inched mine a little bit later.
Yeah.
And they were completely like whitewashed. They weren't given any part of their American tribe.
That's so insane. I cannot believe you did that. Jesus.
I love it. Why did this stop? It just.
Where did you come up with these pictures?
I googled wombat cat like sketches with glowing eyes.
Oh my God.
And somebody came up with it.
That's funny though. My hair has always been a gray brown, like
a ashy brown.
So I hate my brown.
Yeah, I do. I have ashy brown hair too, so I feel you. It's beautiful.
Oh my God. I cannot believe this.
I was like, she's gonna catch me at some point, and then you didn't. So I was like, well, now I gotta tell her the jig is up. I'm really glad that I got to make Sierra laugh and hopefully make her feel special about my conspiracy story today. Just a reminder to leave a 5-star rating and review. I think I fucking earned it with my storytelling skills. Okay,
your story writing skills.
Exactly.
You made that entire story up.
Yeah, give me that 5-star, guys. Come on, give it to me.
She deserves the A+ in her creative writing class.
Thank you. Okay. And we love you guys lots. Follow us on all of the social medias. Write in your spooky, scary stories to twistedanduncorked@gmail.com, where we need one more story to make it into volume 3, and then we're ready to go. And yeah, we love you guys lots. We will see you next week.
Today is November 2nd. And on this day in 1983, U.S. President Ronald Reagan signed a bill establishing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
And we like him.
We like him.
We do.
I don't know so much about Reagan. He's a little, there's some conspiracies about that guy.
Uncertain at this point. To be determined.
But MLK is good.
All right. I like it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you lots, and we will see you next week for a new episode. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.